In the sprawling world of social media, where millions compete for attention, one name rose with a force few could ignore: Sofia Jamora. A young woman from California, she was never destined to simply blend into the crowd. Instead, her striking beauty, magnetic presence, and fearless ambition pushed her into the spotlight, transforming her from a small-town dreamer into one of Instagram's most recognizable faces. But behind the glowing filters and perfectly captured images lies a story far more complex. Who is Sofia Jamora, really? How did a teenager working in retail stores suddenly find herself modeling for global brands, walking in the footsteps of icons, and commanding the gaze of millions? Was it pure luck, or something much deeper, something carefully crafted and fiercely fought for? Her rise wasn't without mystery. Industry insiders whispered about the moment that changed everything, an unexpected encounter that propelled her into the modeling world almost overnight. Yet, even as her follower count soared and her image became synonymous with aspirational beauty, the shadows of controversy and personal struggle followed close behind. Because Sofia Jamora's story isn't just about fame. It's about resilience in the face of scrutiny, ambition colliding with reality, and the unspoken sacrifices demanded by a digital empire. The girl who seemed to have it all was quietly fighting battles the world knew nothing about. As we peel back the layers of her journey, from meteoric rise to the challenges that tested her strength, one question lingers: how much of Sofia Jamora's success was the world ready to see? And how much was she forced to keep hidden? Her ascent was dazzling, yes, but it was only the beginning. For behind every photograph and headline lies a truth that shaped her path, a truth we're about to uncover. And it starts with the moment her world changed forever. Sofia Jamora's rise was rapid, but what many never saw was the weight that came with it. Beneath the glow of magazine spreads, swimwear campaigns, and millions of Instagram likes, the path was far from effortless. For Sofia, success was not handed on a silver platter. It was a climb laced with rejection, online scrutiny, and the relentless pressure of being in the public eye. Her journey began humbly. Working retail jobs in California, she was no stranger to the grind. Then came that chance encounter, when she was discovered while shopping. It seemed like destiny had found her. Almost overnight, she went from folding clothes to being signed by major modeling agencies, fronting campaigns for global brands, and appearing in the music videos of chart-topping artists. To the outside world, it looked like a fairy tale. But within that glamour existed a harsher reality. Sofia soon discovered that the modeling industry was not simply about beauty. It was about endurance, resilience, and the ability to withstand criticism sharper than any camera flash. Every photo shoot carried with it the weight of expectation, every campaign an unspoken demand for perfection. And then came the internet. What began as a platform for her voice and her art quickly became a battleground. With each new follower came praise, but also backlash. Some questioned her authenticity. Others reduced her worth to numbers, comments, or comparisons to those who came before her. The pressure of maintaining an image while carving out her individuality became a challenge few could understand. At just 18, Sofia faced a storm that would have broken many. She was celebrated for her beauty, yet criticized for the very same reason. Trolls labeled her, strangers speculated about her private life, and the tabloids never hesitated to exploit a story. In the age of social media, she was learning a brutal truth: that fame could elevate you in one breath and dismantle you in the next. But Sofia refused to be defined by negativity. She pushed through, and in doing so, redefined herself not just as a model, but as a voice. She spoke out against the toxicity of online culture, addressing the mental strain that so many in her position silently endured. Fans began to see more than a face. They began to see a fighter. Still, the challenges were relentless. Every opportunity she earned was met with whispers of doubt. Was she just another social media starlet? Could she withstand the competitive, often unforgiving modeling industry? And as her image grew, so did the stakes. The breaking point came when her personal life collided with her public image. Rumors, controversies, and heartbreak splashed across headlines. She was thrust into a spotlight that demanded answers she was not ready to give. It was here, at the height of her vulnerability, that Sofia faced her greatest challenge yet, choosing whether to retreat from the chaos or confront it head-on. And she chose the latter. Through the fire of criticism, she discovered resilience. Through rejection, she built persistence. And through the noise, she found her voice. This was no longer just the story of a model. It was the story of a young woman standing at the edge of collapse, deciding to rise. But how does one rebuild when the world is watching every move? And more importantly, how does one transform struggle into power? When the storms of criticism threatened to silence her, Sofia Jamora did something unexpected. She transformed her pain into power. Rather than shrinking from the spotlight, she began reshaping it, molding her image into something far greater than just a model's portfolio. This was the moment she stopped simply posing for the camera and began building an empire. Her foundation was Instagram, but her vision stretched far beyond it. With millions watching her every move, Sofia understood the secret of digital influence: consistency, authenticity, and adaptability. She didn't just post photos. She created a lifestyle, an aspirational world her followers longed to be part of. Every image was meticulously curated, every caption a glimpse into her personality, every collaboration a step toward a bigger dream. Brands took notice. Soon, Sofia wasn't just modeling for others. She was becoming the face of campaigns that reached global audiences. From swimwear lines to fashion editorials, her influence was undeniable. What separated her from countless other models wasn't only her beauty, it was her ability to connect. She wasn't untouchable or distant. She was relatable. She embodied a new kind of celebrity, digital-born, community-driven, and unapologetically authentic. But the empire was not built on beauty alone. Sofia mastered the art of storytelling. Each viral moment, whether walking the runway, appearing in high-profile music videos, or launching collaborations, was carefully leveraged to elevate her brand. She treated every opportunity not as a fleeting gig, but as a stepping stone. Still, building an empire requires risk. Sofia dared to align herself with movements, to use her platform for statements larger than fashion. She embraced vulnerability, sharing fragments of her real struggles, and in doing so, forged a deeper loyalty with her audience. In a world obsessed with perfection, Sofia's honesty became her power. And then came the turning point, the revelation that secured her place not just as an influencer, but as a brand architect. At the height of her career, she shifted from simply endorsing products to creating partnerships that reflected her identity. No longer the face of someone else's vision, she began carving her own. This moment, more than any before, signaled the birth of Sofia Jamora, the entrepreneur. At the 7-minute mark of her story, we see it clearly. Sofia was no longer a rising star. She was a force. Every setback, every criticism, every heartbreak had led to this, her empire, standing on the pillars of resilience, creativity, and authenticity. Her journey from teenage retail worker to international model was now something far more profound, a blueprint for survival and success in the digital age. And as her empire grew, so too did her influence, reaching far beyond the confines of Instagram. Yet, the story doesn't end here. Because behind every empire lies the essence of identity, the unique brand and style that sets one apart from the rest. For Sofia, this would become her signature, her unshakable mark on the world. Every empire has its signature, and for Sofia Jamora, that signature is found in her unmistakable personal brand. She is not just another face in a crowded industry. She is a carefully woven image of beauty, relatability, and aspirational living. What sets her apart is not only her striking presence, but also the way she has cultivated a style that speaks louder than words. Sofia's look is instantly recognizable. Sun-kissed skin, ocean-inspired waves of hair, and a wardrobe that seamlessly blends high fashion with coastal ease. She embodies the effortless glamour of Los Angeles, yet carries the relaxed confidence of a woman who feels at home on the beaches of Malibu. It's this blend, luxury and accessibility, that makes her brand magnetic. Fans don't just admire her aesthetic, they want to live it. Her Instagram grid is not a collage of random posts, it is a narrative. Each image is part of a larger story, a curated reflection of her identity. She is simultaneously the girl next door and the unattainable icon. This duality creates intrigue, keeping her audience engaged and invested in the evolution of her style. But Sofia's branding extends beyond appearance. It's rooted in energy. She projects confidence without arrogance, sensuality without excess, elegance without pretense. Where many influencers lean heavily into one aesthetic, Sofia balances contrasts, glamorous yet grounded, bold yet approachable. That balance has allowed her to resonate with millions of women who see her as both an inspiration and a reflection of themselves. Her partnerships with fashion labels have also amplified this identity. Sofia doesn't simply wear clothes, she brings them to life. Whether posing for swimwear lines, high-end fashion, or streetwear brands, she adapts seamlessly while maintaining her unmistakable essence. To brands, she isn't just a model, she's a symbol of modern femininity. Yet perhaps her greatest branding strength lies in her refusal to be boxed in. She is not solely defined by trends, nor does she mimic the aesthetic of others. Instead, she reinvents herself while staying true to her core identity. This dynamic fluidity allows her to remain relevant in an ever-changing digital landscape, while still being authentic to who she is. In a world where countless influencers fight for attention, Sofia Jamora stands out because she offers more than just visuals. She offers a lifestyle, an aura, an aspiration. Her style has become her story, and her story has become her brand. But Sofia's vision didn't end with self-branding. The true mark of her empire came when she extended her influence beyond fashion and beauty, stepping into the world of entrepreneurship. And in that space, she began building something far greater than a persona. She began building lasting businesses. Fame may open doors, but what separates fleeting stars from lasting icons is the ability to build beyond the spotlight. For Sofia Jamora, modeling was never the final destination, it was the launch pad. Her true genius revealed itself when she began transforming her influence into business ventures that carried her name, her vision, and her legacy. The first step was recognizing the power of her audience. Sofia understood that millions of followers weren't just numbers. They were a marketplace, a community hungry for more than images. They wanted connection. They wanted access. And she gave them exactly that, by aligning with brands in ways that felt organic and eventually creating ventures that bore her own creative signature. Her collaborations with swimwear and fashion labels weren't simply endorsements. They were blueprints. Each partnership gave her an inside look into design, marketing, and brand building. Sofia studied these industries from the inside, learning how trends were born, how campaigns went viral, and how loyalty was cultivated. When the time came to step into entrepreneurship, she was ready. Sofia's ventures embodied the very lifestyle she projected: freedom, confidence, and modern femininity. Whether through curated fashion collections, beauty collaborations, or wellness-focused initiatives, she offered her audience more than products. She offered pieces of herself. For her fans, owning something associated with Sofia wasn't just a purchase, it was a statement, a way to step into her world. But entrepreneurship, like modeling, is never without challenge. The digital marketplace is saturated, and countless influencers have stumbled when attempting to translate fame into business. Sofia, however, leveraged her authenticity. She didn't chase trends blindly. Instead, she focused on ventures that aligned with her image, ensuring every product and collaboration reflected her identity. Her empire grew not because of constant reinvention, but because of consistency. Fashion lines highlighted her coastal glamour. Beauty collaborations celebrated her natural yet polished aesthetic. Each project was an extension of the brand she had so carefully nurtured. And while others might view Instagram as a platform, Sofia treated it as infrastructure, a digital storefront, a marketing hub, a stage where her entrepreneurial spirit could thrive. She blurred the lines between influencer and innovator, showing that social media power could evolve into tangible businesses with global reach. Yet Sofia's ventures weren't only about profit. They were about purpose. She used her businesses to amplify messages of body positivity, self-love, and confidence, values her audience already connected with. By embedding empowerment into commerce, she ensured her empire stood on more than just commercial success. In doing so, Sofia Jamora proved that she was more than a model, more than an influencer. She was a businesswoman, quietly yet powerfully reshaping what it meant to be a digital star in the modern era. But Sofia's story of building an empire has another layer, one that reveals her heart beyond ambition. Because behind the glamour of business lies something even more profound: voiceover script, philanthropy, and advocacy. For Sofia Jamora, influence has never been just about visibility. It has always carried responsibility. As her career flourished, she began to realize that true legacy isn't measured in followers, magazine covers, or campaigns. It's measured in impact, the ability to touch lives, amplify voices, and use privilege to open doors for others. Her philanthropic journey began quietly. Instead of grand announcements, Sofia often chose subtle acts of giving, supporting causes that resonated with her personal story and values. She lent her voice to issues many in her position might shy away from: mental health, women's empowerment, and the toxic culture of online scrutiny. In doing so, she gave shape to a narrative that was not only glamorous but deeply human. One of her most profound advocacies came when she spoke about the silent weight of cyberbullying. Having experienced online harassment herself, Sofia used her platform to highlight the damaging effects of trolling, encouraging her followers to prioritize kindness and compassion. Her honesty made her advocacy more powerful. She wasn't speaking from theory, but from lived experience. But her efforts extended beyond awareness. Sofia aligned herself with campaigns that supported women's shelters, body positivity movements, and organizations addressing inequality. She consistently demonstrated that influence, when directed with purpose, could become a tool for healing and change. Her fashion collaborations also carried this spirit. By championing diverse beauty and inclusivity in her projects, she reinforced a message that beauty isn't confined to one standard. It's expansive, it's personal, and it deserves celebration in all its forms. Sofia also began highlighting the importance of self-worth, especially for young women navigating social media. Her message was simple yet profound. Your value is not determined by likes or comments. It's rooted in who you are beyond the screen. This advocacy resonated deeply, especially with the generation that grew up watching her rise. Philanthropy, for Sofia, was never a strategy. It was a reflection of her growth. The girl who once faced scrutiny now stood as a voice against it. The model once objectified now advocated for empowerment. In many ways, her charitable work revealed the full circle of her story, turning pain into empathy and influence into change. And perhaps this is where Sofia Jamora's legacy shines brightest. Not in the curated perfection of her photos, but in the unfiltered truth of her compassion. She showed her followers that while beauty might capture attention, kindness sustains it. But the question remains, what does her story teach us about legacy? Beyond modeling, beyond business, beyond advocacy, what imprint does Sofia leave on the world she helped shape? Sofia Jamora's journey is more than the tale of a model who conquered Instagram. It is the story of a young woman who rose from humble beginnings, endured storms of criticism, and emerged with not only an empire, but a voice. From the beaches of California to global fashion campaigns, she transformed visibility into influence, and influence into purpose. Her legacy is not defined solely by her beauty, but by the resilience behind it. She showed the world that the pressures of fame could be met with courage, that setbacks could ignite reinvention, and that a platform could be more than a stage. It could be a force for change. Through branding, entrepreneurship, and philanthropy, Sofia carved a place for herself that extends far beyond the fleeting trends of social media. She has become an emblem of modern resilience, A reminder that true success is not measured by the applause of the crowd, but by the strength to rise when the crowd turns silent. And for millions who look up to her, she stands as proof that vulnerability can be power and authenticity can be legacy. But perhaps the most important question is not what Sofia Jamora has achieved. It is what her story inspires in us. Will we, too, find the courage to transform adversity into triumph? Will we use our own platforms, no matter how small, to make an impact beyond ourselves? Her journey is far from over, but one truth is clear. Sofia Jamora is more than an influencer. She is an influence. If her story moved you, share your thoughts in the comments below. And for more powerful journeys like hers, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and join us